All right, let me talk to you real quick about Rexius Nutrition in Ralston. Rexius carries an awesome line of pre-workout from brands like Alpha Lion, Bucked Up, 5150, Insane Labs, and several other brands. They also have a great selection of protein powder, including my personal favorite, the All Max Hexapro cookies and cream flavored. Can't go wrong with that. They also carry the very popular brand Axon Sledge protein powders, branched chain amino acids, which are crucial to stay hydrated, and pre-workout. They also carry locally owned brands like VHI Fit, carry their protein powders in several different flavors. They also have pre-workout, branched chain amino acids, vegan protein powder as well. And if you have a sweet tooth like me, you gotta try this Omaha protein popcorn. The owners Jamie and Brent Stryker are absolute studs and are very knowledgeable with a background in bodybuilding. Jamie even reached pro status as an IFBB pro women's physique competitor. Stop by Rexius Nutrition in Ralston on the corner of 84th and Q and receive 10% off when you tell them you're there on an official visit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Official Visit. I'm your host, Oscar Galindo. I'm excited for today's episode, mostly just because we get to hand out some flowers to, some players that are very deserving of them. I've got this quick episode here for you guys, just highlighting 5 players in the state of Nebraska that are yet to receive an offer. Much to my surprise, I think all these guys are very deserving of an offer of some sort. Definitely getting interest. I just don't, there just hasn't been the full offer arrive yet. So, like I said, I'm excited to, shout out these players. Like I said, very deserving players. They've produced on the field. They've shown that they can produce at a high level. Some of these kids I've seen at camps, and they've performed very well there, showing that they can perform very well against high level competition. So with that being said, here are 5 unoffered seniors that I would offer immediately. Check them out. All right, the first player I got highlighted here is Branden Benes. He's a 2024 wide receiver / defensive back from Boone Central. He stands at 5'11", 160. He definitely does look like he could still add a couple more, 10 pounds, 15 more pounds of, muscle, which I'm sure he will once he gets to the next level and gets on some of their training programs, nutrition programs, all that kind of stuff. He's a great athlete. He's a player that I've seen at, he was at our Stock Up Showcase last year, and then I've seen him here and there at different events. And he's just very consistent. That's the biggest thing I take away from him, is just very consistent. He's always, he's a guy that you really know what you're gonna get from, day in and day out. He's always gonna give it his all. He's been on varsity since he was a freshman. Kind of got his feet wet during his freshman year. Started getting a lot more opportunity as a starter during his sophomore year. And just looking here, just in his 3 years as a varsity starter as a receiver, he's nearing 1,000 yards. He's at 987 receiving yards and 12 receiving touchdowns. And that's considering he's in a very run-dominant offense. Boone, they love to run the ball. They love to, dominate up front. Just power away at defenses. So, and with the running back like Parker Bohr, it doesn't really take a whole lot to understand why. He's great. So Brant hasn't had a whole ton of opportunities to necessarily get the ball in passing situations, but when he does, he just takes full advantage of that opportunity. 16 receptions as a senior for 388 yards, and he's averaging about 24 yards a clip. So that's great. Just shows his huge playmaking ability, or big playmaking ability. For a career, he's averaged 22 yards per reception. So big gain receiver. When you watch his tape, you see a receiver who runs great routes. He knows how to create separation. Very good footwork. Explosive through his change of direction. When I was watching his tape, I really liked how sudden he is when he's running his routes. He could stop on a dime and on those double moves and stuff like that. Some of those is where he got where he was able to get open and kind of trick that defender and get behind him for the long gains. Great after the catch as well. He's just a tough receiver. Always fights for extra yardage. Takes very good care of the ball. Excellent hands. At the camps I've seen him, it seems like he caught everything coming his way. Just clamps for hands and catches everything. On the defensive side, I do like the fact that he's very versatile. This season, he played more of a safety-ish role from what I saw on tape. From what I've seen on tape, he played more kind of safety, but he does have experience at cornerback, so he could be floated around there. Very instinctive, plays the ball very well. Again, very same traits as receiver. Being physical and all that, he transfers over to the offense, or to defense. Just a very versatile player. I could see him playing either side of the ball. I like him a lot as a receiver. I think he's a great playmaker. And like I said, he's very polished already as a route runner. So that's where I kind of see him as. Runs a 4.6 840 time. I've had him on the show already, so if you want to go check out that episode, I had him on here with Parker. Cool, very very cool dude, great guy. So someone that I'm sure would just fit in very well in the locker room. So yeah, Brant, unoffered. He has gotten some interest here and there. A lot of like Sioux Falls, I believe he went to a visit to UNK. He's been to like Nebraska, South Dakota State, my bad. So there's definitely some interest there, but just hasn't gotten that first offer. And a player that I think can definitely benefit any group, whether it be a DB room or a wide receiver room. He's definitely a player that with good attitude and good work ethic, he could definitely improve that. So definitely got to check out. All right, next player up on my board is Millard West Wildcats safety John Ferguson. John is a beast, man. He's a dog. I enjoy watching his tape. He's a great athlete, very physical player. Plays the game how I feel like it should be played. One thing I feel like probably like kind of holding him up, which is unfortunate, is right now he stands at 5'9", 185. So I'm sure by some metrics that's considered undersized for the safety position. But I think when you kind of watch his tape and when you watch his play in person, you realize he's one, a lot tougher, or he's super tough. Two, he's a lot stronger than you anticipate, and three, he's an exceptional athlete. At 185, he's got a solid frame to him. He's strong. He's not gonna just back down or get pushed around by just anybody out there. He could hold his own. Just a great athlete. Right here on his bio, he has reported a 39.7-inch vertical, a 10-foot 4-inch broad jump, and then a 4.5 40. So really kind of displaying that speed, that explosiveness, that athleticism that you like to see in a defensive out of like a defensive back. So when I watch his tape, all that stuff translates very well. That toughness, he's very physical. Ended the season with 88 tackles. Has zero problem coming up into the box and helping out against the run and making a play on a running back. In coverage, he does an excellent job, just being physical with receivers who try to be physical with him, just not kind of, doing a good job disrupting timing, disrupting routes. One thing that I've always said Millard West defensive backs do very well, and that's play the ball. They have excellent ball skills. They get their hands up. They either will go up and make a play on the ball and try to snag it for themselves, or they'll be smart about it and know when to like bat it away or Like I said, John's a pretty strong dude. He can rip it out if he needs to, do all that kind of stuff to break the pass up. So um, yeah, and another thing, just like I said, kind of tying in with that is just being well coached, just in general. You see his tape and you see a lot of very smart plays, a lot of great heads up plays. Showing good instincts, good ability to a quick break on the ball, closes gaps very well, all that kind of stuff. Tackles, shows great tackling technique, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, so kind of just going out a very polished product or polished prospect with a ton of production. Looks like 80 tackles last year as a junior, 88 tackles as a senior, 15 total pass breakups, and then he had a couple blocks, field goal blocks last season, and he had like a 59-yard fumble return this year. So just has that nose for a big play. And kind of just really comes up for his team whenever they need a play, out of the backfield or something like that. They need a pass broken up or a good stop. He's someone that doesn't won't shy away from taking in that moment. So John Ferguson, great safety. Very very underrated safety. I think he'll be an excellent addition to any kind of defensive back room at any level. So yeah, definitely got to check out. All right, next guy up is Brecken Erickson out of North Platte St. Patrick's. This dude is just a beast, man. He's another monster out there. 6'3", 220 pounds, defensive line slash edge rusher, uh, linebacker. Also, ton of potential at tight end. Yeah, he's one of those dudes that you just watch him on tape and you're like, man, this guy had to have been made in a lab somewhere because he's just a freak. Uh, I don't have official like tackle numbers or statistics for Breckan, but what I do see here is I believe by 5 weeks in he already had 15 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, a fumble return, and an interception. And on offense, he had 8 receptions for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, pretty productive dude. Knows how to make plays, I would say. But yeah, just talking about his play a little bit. I think he projects best on the defensive side of the ball. Kind of just as an edge defender, outside linebacker, hybrid, just one of those modern defenders that can kind of really just do it all on the defensive front. On the defensive front, just great athlete. He can drop back in coverage when he needs to. Uh, he's just has a tireless pursuit when you ask him to just pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. Just a relentless pursuit of doing that. Yeah, so like I said, kind of fits that modern role or modern mold for those types of players that can, they got that length, they got good size to them, but on top of that, they can also cover the field very well. They can keep up with tight ends. They can maybe pick up on running backs out of the backfield, that kind of stuff. And when you watch him on offense, dude can move, man. Like I said, at 6'3", 220, dude can just move. Tons of potential as a tight end. I could definitely see him doing that as well. Definitely not limiting him solely to the defensive side, but yeah, does a good job getting open. He's a hooper, so and he kind of plays receiver like a hooper. Kind of just big bodied, knows how to fight or can go up and play above the rim and climb the ladder and get the ball, and he's very good after the catch. Just naturally tough. Isn't easy to bring down like on first contact. So you're gonna need a couple guys to get out there to bring him down, or you're gonna have to get him low to bring him down. Yeah, great length. Very lengthy player. creates separation on the off the edge very well. Does a good job just being disruptive at the line of scrimmage. Can break down a pocket like nobody's business. Definitely a player that, surprisingly for some reason still hasn't received offers. Could be up. We're gonna stay with the same name, Breckan, but we're gonna go Brecken Schluter, another 8-man just monster. Brecken plays for Exeter-Milligan-Friend, so he will get another chance to watch him play as a prep player in the state championship game as he gets ready to go play in the D1 game against Stanton. Primarily a running back, but he also plays linebacker. But in general, he's just a very good athlete. I had a ton of fun watching this film. I thought, it was just incredible to see the many different ways he could just produce with the football in his hands. Obviously at running back, he's been extremely, productive in his career. I believe he's passed 4,000 rushing yards. This season, he's already at 2,746 and 52 touchdowns. So he's just putting up insane numbers. A monster reason why the Bobcats are headed to the state championship. But yeah, just insanely productive. Some of my favorite traits from him as a running back are, like his vision. Sees the field very well, knows when to cut back, or he can cut back very well. Make defenders miss. He can bulldoze defenders over as well. Just kind of a versatile runner. He kind of do it all as a runner. Run between the tackles, bounce to the outside, and use his burst and acceleration to really take off. But then he's also just very versatile, just as a football player. Like I said, those 8-man players, a lot of them are forced to really play all kinds of different, or do all kinds of different tasks for their teams. And Brecken's no different, and he does it all very well. Had some nice plays as a receiving back, catching the ball out of the backfield. Did a lot of damage once he got the ball in his hands. Having a little bit of space, and with his vision, he did a great job just dicing up defenses, and can usually take those for decent gains as well. As a returner, that explosiveness, that playmaking ability, just an electric player in general. He did a lot of damage as a returner, and then a linebacker, just different things that he could do as a linebacker. He really impressed me with his coverage abilities. He showed ability to kind of get back and cover, get good depth. He can pick up crossing receivers, and he could be physical against like tight ends and stuff like that. So just a very impressive athlete. Don't have a ton of statistics for like his 40 times and stuff like that. But yeah, it has this deceiving speed that I think people probably don't anticipate. All right, yeah, I was trying to look for his 40 times stuff like that. Couldn't find it, but regardless, great player. Like I said, one of the truly elite players coming out of the 8-man ranks. He really caught my eye after his junior season, and then this year, he really just kind of blew any expectations out of the park with the season he's had and with the run he's helped the Bobcats, go on this postseason. So yeah, don't really understand why he hasn't gotten offers besides maybe the fact that he just plays at a small school and maybe just hasn't received the attention or hasn't received the looks from those coaches. So definitely a player that I would check out immediately and try to get him on campus and try to get him in for a visit, because 7,000-yard prep receiver or prep rushers is not something you find every day. So Schluter, definitely got to keep an eye on, definitely got to watch, and see what he does this Monday in the Class D1 championship. All right, and last but not least, we got to show some love to our guys up front. Some of the big dudes up front, putting in that nasty work. So my last shout out is to Reid Kelly from Grand Island. Reid is an offensive lineman, plays center for the Islanders, and he is also on the defensive line, plays defensive end. At 6'4", 250 pounds, he has great size for an offensive lineman already, especially for a center. He's a very sturdy 6'4", 250. Good base, strong base, good length, can kind of take on some of those lengthier defensive linemen with good size, lengthy arms and stuff like that. Very strong player. I like how he's able to kind of just once he gets his hands inside and he takes over that leverage battle, it's kind of lights out, and from there he's able to just overpower defenders and kind of just drive them into the ground once he does that. So accurate with the snaps. He does. I really like how quick he is. After the snap to shoot out of his stance and get hands on somebody or get back and in his pass protection set. So good footwork, good mobility. Has good lateral burst. On the defensive side, I also really like his upside there. Very aggressive. Shoots out like he does on offense. Shoots off the ball and can just get a good initial jab. Really get a good push off the ball and whichever side that's on. So very just tenacious player, man. Just he can fight off blocks on defense. On offense, he's able to, I already talked about this a little bit, but his lateral burst does a good job getting up to the second level and sealing off some linebackers and creating holes up there for his back. So, but yeah, just flying very under the radar as of right now. He's one of the better centers in Class A and really the state. So, I'm sure if you could probably even move him over to one of the guard spots. If push comes to shove, but yeah, a player that I think could play on either side of the ball at the next level, offense or defense, and really kind of just continue to grow and develop. Has a frame that I believe he could even kind of keep adding to his frame, kind of add some more muscle, add some more size to his frame, and be even more dominant than he is now. So Kelly out of Grand Island, dude, I think can be very productive and be a great asset on either offense or defense at the next level. Flying super under the radar right now. I'm not exactly sure why. Talent's there, the tape is there, so hopefully guy Reid starts getting some looks here soon. So all right, so those were my 5 players that I would offer immediately. 5 excellent players, tons of production, tons of varsity experience, big game experience, what you name it. They've done it, but for some reason the offers just haven't come through. And I believe these guys are some dudes that, if you get them on your roster, they'll be able to just provide a boost to whatever room they're in immediately. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. There's definitely a ton of great players. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I might do a couple more of these. Maybe move down the classes, down to 2025s and 26s, despite the fact that a lot of those guys still aren't offered yet. But just kind of just to get more names out there, more exposure. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think of this. Um, don't forget to sign up for or log in your ballot for the state championship pick'em. Just our contest brought to us by our sponsor, Rexius Nutrition in Ralston. Basically, guess the most state championship game results correct, or all of them, or if we have multiple of those guys, there's a tiebreaker. But be the person that guesses the most or all of them correctly, and you will receive a prize pack from myself and from Rexius. So, yeah, go in. If you believe you know who's gonna win all 7 championships, fill that out and enter for a chance to win. Let me see what else I got. All right, and then another thing I got for you, or I got to mention here before we close off, is the Prep Redzone Stock Up Showcase. It's happening December 3rd at the Iowa West Sports Complex in Council Bluffs. Definitely want to check that out. Great competition. You'll compete in front of college coaches, receive instruction from them. So if you stand out, you'll definitely, I'm sure you'll end up on their radars. Either receive an offer right off the bat, or they might keep you. Some of the younger guys, till whatever the timeline is for whatever. But yeah, definitely, definitely show up. We really want to build this up. I've seen some of the names on the list already for players that will be there, and I'm really excited to see how they go out and perform. But yeah, we'd definitely love to see a lot more guys out there. Really, bring out the best to Council Bluffs, both from Iowa and Nebraska. Show these coaches, we got a lot of talent out here. This ain't no flyover state, like I've said multiple times. It's not a flyover state for talent no more. So, yeah, I'm really hoping to see a ton of you guys out there. Like I said, building this up, competing, battling, just really sharpening each other up and making each other better, and yeah, catching attention from these coaches. So, use the code Galindo StockUp 2023 to receive $10 off your registration. I will be there. Jed and Dave will all be there, so we'll be posting on Twitter. We'll be doing articles. We'll be posting on TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Probably do a couple podcast episodes out of that. So, even get in perspective. My guy Dave, doing that. You might end up on his podcast too after the showcase. So you never know. We're all there. Keep an eye out for you guys. All you guys got to do is show up and ball out. So. Yeah, Prep Redzone Stock Up Showcase. Go to prepredzone.com to find the registration. Let me think. What else do I got for you guys? Yeah, super excited next week. Don't forget, or Friday, first state championship game, Class D6, Hayes Springs versus Sumner, Eddyville, Miller. And then, yeah, Class D1, D2 and Class B on Monday, C1, C2, and Class A on Tuesday, I believe. It might be flipped. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I probably could have looked it up, but I'm kind of doing this outro off the fly. So, but regardless, don't forget to watch those. Some great matchups, some great stories, some great players. Got my guy Breckan playing in it, and yeah. Oh, and Brant. Yeah, Brant for Boone. So, watch those guys. I'm super excited to close out the season, even though we weren't able to get out as much as we wanted to. But now I'm kind of just ranting. But thank you again. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more episodes like this, more rankings, more interviews coming up once the season closes off, and more players have some more time to sit down and chat and stuff. So subscribe, like, share, comment, let me know what you think. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.